The Israeli commander who signed the order believed that he had. More than 50,000 Palestinians were forced out.
It's not a secret anymore. It was called Shoalei Shimshon, the wool of Samson, with jeeps, with machine guns. It's not a secret anymore. Many things we did, we regret until today. We regret until today. And I think that, but in war you make mistakes. Anyhow, there was no clear order from Ben-Gurion how to deal with the inhabitants in an occupied village.
But could Israel have functioned with a big town like Ramleh, full of Arabs? Could you have built a state if you had that many Arabs living right in the center of the country?
No.
Many refugees died on the long walk to the Arab lines. The offensive ended with another UN truce. In 10 days of fighting, the Israeli general, Igal Allon, estimated that 20% of the effective Arab fighting force had been lost, and the War of Independence won, though not ended. In the remaining months of the war, there were more Israeli offensives, more Palestinians were forced out, and there were more ceasefires. Of the invaders, only the Arab Legion in Jerusalem and the West Bank could claim any success. The others were humiliated.
When the Second War came, it was not in favor of the Arabs. It was totally in favor of the Jews. Because there, the Jews were able to make victory in Nakba, in the south, and against the Syrians and Lebanese. We were left alone in the West Bank, defending ourselves.
By the time Israel seized the last corner of the Negev desert in March 1949, armistice talks had already started. Yad Mordechai was recaptured and became a symbol of Israeli resistance. From November 1947 to January 1949, around 6,000 Israelis, 1% of the population, had been killed.
What do you think would have happened if you hadn't won?
Well, the Arabs really gave the answer to that question, Jeremy. When someone said to them, but what happened to the Jews once you overrun them? He says, there won't be any Jews. They will have been drowned in the sea. And I have no doubt that it really would have been a Holocaust.
One estimate is that around 15,000 Arab soldiers and civilians were killed. Defeat made the Arab world even more unstable.
There was no balance between the forces of Israel and the forces of the Arabs. Because in wars, you don't only depend on the number of soldiers or the number of tanks. You have also to have political force, and you have to have a unity among those who are going to war. Unity did not exist among the Arab states.
Since 1948, the Israelis have built a modern state, the region's superpower, a homeland for the Jews. Palestinians believe it's all come on the back of their loss, and that troubles some Israelis too.
I have no doubt that the Arabs' deportation also helped the State of Israel. The truth should be said. It helped us because hundreds of thousands fled and new immigrants settled into their villages and towns. It's difficult to say, but this did happen. We didn't ask for it, but it happened nonetheless. On the other hand, the situation of an ongoing war, day after day, for 60 years, big wars with names, small wars with no names, the 1948 war is yet to end.
For all Israel's strength, its civilians still get killed by Palestinians. And with their civilians dying too, Palestinians believe that what they call the Nakba, the catastrophe of 1948, has never ended. The current peace process, sponsored by President Bush, will fail like all the others if it cannot solve problems that are hardwired to 1948. Partition is still on the agenda. They need to fix a border between Israel and a Palestinian state. Jerusalem is still claimed by both sides. And Palestinian refugees await a future.
Until 1948, that was a bare hill on the edge of Bethlehem. Now it's Dheisheh refugee camp. The original tents were replaced by permanent structures a long time ago, but there's no sense of permanence in the minds of the people who live there because for 60 years they have effectively been in limbo. The future of the Palestinian refugees is still one of the Middle East's great unsolved, politically toxic issues.